So thank you so much for your presence. We are honored by this level of demand with almost close to 300, I think, people registering. My name is Xavier or Xavier. I am the co-founder of the startup Einstein Studios that you see at the top left that builds the product Koala. And before I start, I would like to thank the International Dyslexia Association for believing in our product and spreading the word to their audience. The purpose of this webinar is to walk you through the steps you need to take if you want to get started with the Koala virtual classroom. So this is a success if at the end of the webinar, you're on your way and you can start teaching with your students using Koala. All right, so who are we? So we're a small team of 6 people. Here is Ben. Ben is my co-founder, is a really good friend of mine. He was crazy enough to leave his well-paying job at Apple to build this startup with me. Who does that? And his mother is a teacher also, and he's based in California, in the San Francisco region, like me.
Hi, everybody.
Oh yeah, and he's also here. And you may talk to him later during this webinar. Brennan is also a brilliant programmer. His mother is also a teacher. He's also based in California. Jérôme is our 3D artist. He does the job on his own. He does the job of what usually takes 3 or 4 artists to build. So the avatars are his. The 3D world that you'll see, he's designed this. He also happens to be dyslexic, so he really is a dyslexic genius, and he's based in London. Naomi, super talented, who runs marketing on her own. She's based in Florida. Gian, who's very patient and empathetic, who runs operations and customer support, and myself. So what is Koala? So the genesis of Koala was Ben and I talking to hundreds of families and hearing their stories about dyslexia. And they had a kid who was dyslexic, and we realized that it was real, true suffering because their kid was dyslexic and school did not match their learning profile. While at the same time, we were reading books such as The Dyslexic Advantage, or watching this TED Talk by Dean Bragonnier about the mind's strength. And this revealed to us that dyslexic kids struggle at reading and writing, but they excel in other areas, such as 3D spatial thinking and episodic memory. And the word that we hear all the time is multi-sensory learning, which means they basically learn by doing, by touching things, moving them around. And we heard that Zoom was not the optimal tool for them. And that's what Koala is. Koala is a multi-sensory alternative to Zoom. And the last element, of course, was to bring a little bit of fun. Because let's face it, for a 7-year-old, it's hard to make a structured literacy instructions fun on Zoom. But enough talking, let's show you the product. So if you are at home and you have access to a PC or a Mac, I'm going to walk you through every step. So feel free to replicate them with me as I go so that you're all set up by the end of this webinar. All right. So first of all, we're going to open a browser and we're going to go to the URL koala-classroom.com. koala-classroom.com. Once you're there, scroll down a little bit and you'll see those 3 buttons. You need to be on a PC or on a computer or desktop or laptop in order to do this. You'll see 3 buttons: download for Windows, download for Mac, or launch in your browser. For teachers here, we're going to do only one of those 2 options, either Windows or Mac. So go ahead and download for, if you have a PC, download for Windows. If you have a Mac, download for Mac. So I'm going to show you on Mac what happens. On Mac, you'll see an installer at the bottom here. On PC, you'll see something called Koala setup.exe. Go ahead and execute this, and then it will start the app and update to the latest version. On Mac, it's more or less the same thing. Click on the application that you downloaded. This window will pop up saying opening Koala installer, and then you'll see something that looks like this. And all you got to do is click on here and drag it into application, into this folder here. Okay? And that will put Koala in your application folder for good. And then you can just double click on this icon. So go ahead and do this. I'm starting it on my end as well. So here is what you see at the beginning. You're seeing, welcome to Koala from Einstein. I want to host a room, or I want to join a room. What we want is this sentence to say, I want to host a room. Because as the teacher, you're the host, just like on Zoom. And here I'm going to type my email address. That's correct. And then you can enter any username you want. I decide to type my first name.
Hey, Xavier.
Once this is done.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
before you continue, we have a question about where the application folder is on Mac. Do you mind showing this to Lass?
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you've dragged and dropped the app into the application folder and you can't find the app, you can go to Finder, click on Finder. I'm going to close this. Click on Finder, and then here, Application. And then this should be sorted, I believe, well, alphabetical order, and you should find something at K for Koala. And then you can double click on that app. All right, so going back to here, you can click on Start once you've entered your email address and your username. And what will happen is it will create your account. So your account is now generated, and you will enter your virtual classroom. This is your unique virtual classroom. And if it's the first time you're connecting, what will show up here at the beginning is this window that explains you how to interact and how to move around in this virtual world. So don't get scared. I know you're not necessarily a video gamer like me, but you'll see it's actually quite straightforward. There are just 4 keys on your keyboard that you will be using. Move forward is up arrow, move backwards is down arrow, turn left is left, turn right is right. So let's close this and let's try. If I press up arrow, I'm moving forward. Back arrow, moving backwards, right and left. So you see that you are actually now in a 3D world and you can move around. So for those who really feel like a crazy adventure, I invite you to walk towards the stairs and climb. And you'll see we have not really, I wonder what's behind this red door. Maybe we'll learn about it another time. But basically what this shows is that you can simply walk around this 3D classroom. What we're trying to do here is replicate as faithfully as we can the real physical classroom that you have virtually. Now, as you can see, there is nobody in this virtual world, in this 3D world with me. But at the top left of your screen, you see those two words, sword-constant. This is a unique identifier for your classroom. Nobody else has the same, and at home, if you're replicating those steps, you're seeing two different words. That's expected. But we're alone and we need a student. So at the top left, you see those two words that were randomly generated. And all I have to do in order for Ben to join me is share those two words. So I'm going to text Ben right now, sword-constant, and send that to him. And what Ben will be doing is similarly to what we did, the student can either enter the app on Windows or Mac, or simply launch it in his browser. And so if you launch in your browser, it will open this page, which will load for a little bit. And then you can just choose to join the room instead of hosting the room.
Okay, so
I'm going to show this to you.
This part might be a bit confusing for everybody. The idea is that the app can be run, like Xavier said, on either Mac, Windows, or the browser. The browser is really cannot be used by the teacher. You can, but there are features that won't be available if the teacher is on the browser. So for teachers, we recommend using the Mac or the Windows app. As a student, you can join from either three platform. In theory, the web browser is available on Chromebook. We had the question earlier. So if I think we had the question again recently. So yes, Chromebook is supported through the, if you launch in your browser.
So here I chose to just launch in a browser just to show you what it looks like. It looks the exact same. And as a student, the student just has to click on this. I want to join a room and enter email address, username, and then the existing room, as you can remember, for my room, it would be sword-constant.
So
and as soon,
yeah,
go ahead, Ben.
No, I was gonna say, we have questions about how to have students download the app, how do we invite the kid? So maybe can you go back to the student, to what the teacher sees at the moment, Xavier? Okay.
Absolutely.
So as a teacher, this is what you'll see, right? You'll be in your classroom, you want maybe, I don't know, maybe you're getting ready, you're loading something in the browser up there that you're interested in, you're writing stuff on the whiteboard, you're ready to invite the student. What do? What do I do at this point? Xavier mentioned the two words that you see at the top, which will be, it's essentially a room code. You can share these two words with the student, and that will allow them to join you in the classroom. Now, the student can, as I mentioned, either download the Windows app, either download the Mac app, or they can join from the browser. If you want them to join, you just share them the koala-classroom.com link.
And there we are. We see Ben's avatar magically appearing. So here, hi Ben.
Hi everybody.
I'm going to mute myself in Koala because I have also Zoom going on right now. And you can see that, so I can see Ben's avatar, I can move towards him and away from him, but I would like to also see him, not just his avatar. And you see that at the top left, there's also this camera icon. And if I click on it, I turn on my camera. Hi everyone, hi Ben. And Ben can do the same. So now as Ben moves around, his camera stays right by his side. So that's up to you, whether you want to use the camera feature or not. I know some exercise require camera, some maybe don't. Some kids are shy, don't want to turn on their camera, it's totally fine. And some kids just don't have the internet bandwidth for video, but they can still be in this virtual space as avatar. I'm gonna turn this off for now. And now let's talk about this really good looking browser. So the philosophy of Koala is not to force you on a specific program. We don't want to push you towards Slingerland or Orton Gillingham or Wilson. You know better what program your student needs. What we're trying to do with Koala is give you the core technology to do whatever you want. So somebody in the chat earlier talked about Wizimo. Absolutely. You can just go on the browser and type Wizimo here. You can use Seesaw. You can use, I know some of you use Google Slides or BitPaper. You can use anything here, okay? I personally like a tool called Really Great Reading. And they have these, because they have those letter tiles online. So if I go there, it works just like a browser, and I'm going to click here, mouse input. And here, let me move slightly on the side so that Ben can be next to us. Here's Ben. And here, Ben, we're going to do an exercise. I'm going to ask you to spell cat, C-A-T, cat, K-A-T, cat. So I'm setting this up, and here I want to give Ben access to the browser. So I click on this hamburger menu at the top right. So you can try to do this at home. And if you have other people in the classroom, you'll see that under mouse control, there's two options, one for myself and one for Ben. I'm going to click on Ben. There we go.
All right, so now, yeah, Xavier just gave me control. As the student, I see that my teacher, Xavier in this case, gave me control of the browser. So one important point is that the browser can only be interacted with one person at a time. This is a limitation that we have for now. We might improve this in the future. So that's why there's this dance where Xavier gives me control, gives the student control, and then relinquishes it when he's done, when the student is done doing whatever we need to do. So here I have control. I can manipulate the tiles. And then Xavier, my teacher, sees that because he sees where my mouse is pointing. As you can see, there's a laser pointer.
So this laser, this laser going from Ben's hand to the board is where the cursor of his mouse is. So I can see exactly, and I can point, and he sees the same thing on my side.
So for instance, right now I'm using my mouse going around the T as a way to show to Xavier that I'm interested in this particular part of my screen. And Xavier sees that.
And I'm doing the same.
Another important piece of information is that Xavier can at all times see what I'm looking at simply by looking at where my head is pointing towards. So right now my head is pointing towards the board. Xavier knows that I'm focusing on the board. If my head was pointing over there, Xavier would know that I would be focusing on not the board.
Something else.
Exactly.
Yes. Nice. Good job, Ben. You spelled it right.
Thank you. Before we continue, sorry, Xavier, before we continue, does anybody have questions about this? It's a lot of information you just gave. Let's see if I see a lot of questions. Okay, taking forever to download. Where are his feet? Oh, we don't have feet right now. We're just kind of floating. This might change in the future. Good question. Can students who are in the room via browser still get control? Yes, absolutely. If you're in a browser, you can get control of as a teacher, you can give control to a student who are in Chrome, for example, if that makes sense. Yes, I know that in Zoom, students on Chrome cannot do remote control. In this case, it's possible. Are these letter tiles available to us? Yes, this is the website we're using. Can you tell us a bit more about this website?
Really great reading. I believe it's publicly available, but don't quote me on this. But I think the tool is free free for anyone. Yes. Yeah.
So letter tiles are available. Alphabet seems small. What does it look like to the student? The student can, if it looks too small, the student can always come closer to the board or further in order to see more of the board. That makes sense. Let's see what other questions we have. Able to get in reading tiles to work with in the program. Please email us. I'm not sure how to answer this right now. Still loading. Okay. Can't seem to use the Google screen to pull up other programs. Not sure why. Again, please email us. So I cannot currently transfer control on an iPad. iPad is not supported just yet, but once we do support iPad, you will be able to transfer control. Okay, I think wait, more questions. Can you use a document camera? Not sure what you mean by that. Please elaborate. How do you choose?
The document camera, we have to look into it. We'll get back to you on this, but it's an external camera that you plug, I think, over USB that allows 2 videos so that you can show documents.
Yeah, okay. How do you
So we
choose
can
which
work on
board
that.
to display on? Right now, there's only one board that acts as a browser. The other whiteboard that's on the right is just a whiteboard on which you can write. Xavier will show what you can do with that board. Not seeing the little lines, hamburger to give mouse control. Xavier, can you point to that menu real fast for Robin?
Absolutely. It's in the top right of the browser. If you joined as a host, you should see this hamburger menu here. And it
Okay, I think
says
yeah,
mouse control here.
there's a lot of other questions. We'll answer them as we make a little bit more progress here.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So this is for those of you who want to use tools on the web, games and tools that are on the web, or even Google Drive, things that you have on the cloud. If you just have, PDF documents or anything stored locally on your computer, you will see this icon in the top right of my screen here that looks like a document with a white arrow. Click on this, and this will allow you to upload any kind of local documents. Today, we only support PDF. We'll probably be adding support for other formats later. So here I have this word list. I open, and there it is. It shows up here. I'm going to take control back here by clicking on Xavier in the mouse control. And here I can just scroll down. And now let's do a little exercise with Ben using this word list. So here I'm going to click on this pencil icon at the bottom. And here I can choose the color and the width. So I'm going to choose this. Then this word is subdivision. Could you please underline the prefix in this word? Nice, good job, Ben. And could you please circle the suffix? Very good. So here you can see that you can draw also on this screen. And if you want to erase, you can just click on the eraser right here at the bottom and hold your click and wipe like this. Now, moving on, you see that there's this whole other big screen on your right. This is a simple whiteboard. So here you can draw. So again, I can use this pencil and I can write anything I want. Obviously, this is easier if you have a mouse or if you have a touch screen. So we support, any kind of peripheral that allows you to interact with your screen, or maybe you have a touch screen, so you can do that easily. It's more kinesthetic. Or you can also use those sticky notes here by clicking on this icon, and then you can create your sticky note and move it around. You can make it bigger. You can move it inside the whiteboard or anywhere you want. If I want, I can even put it on this wall here, so you can start decorating your own classroom, changing the color, and typing any type of text you want. All right, I think you've been behaving extremely well, and therefore I am going to show you how to customize your avatar. So you see at the bottom right, you see these gear icons. Click on this button.
So Xavier, before we continue, we have a question about the
Yes,
sticky note. Can you show
Yep.
how to create a sticky note again?
Of course. Sorry if I went too fast on this. At the bottom, you see 6 icons. First one is a pencil. The second one is the sticky note. So click on that icon. It will be surrounded in orange once you select it, and then click anywhere, and it will create those sticky notes. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Okay, and then the other question was, can we load up Jamboard, for example, on the browser? Can you show how to do that?
Yeah, for sure. So I won't be able to load up Jamboard because I need to log in with my with an account, and I don't have an account. But basically, you would go about it just like you would on a browser. So I'm not sure, I've never used it, but I believe, oops, I'm going to press on the trash can, delete this, and click on the cursor again. This is what I need to do to interact with. So go to Jamboard, sign in. I assume that you can sign in here and then have access to your Jamboard account.
Last question, how do you make the sticky note bigger?
So the sticky note, you select the sticky note, and then if you hold the click, you can move it around. And here you see at the bottom, there is this cross icon. Click on it, hold your click, and then drag it and to the size that you want. And
yeah.
Yes.
How do you write on the sticky note? How do you write on the sticky note?
You simply click on a sticky note. Let's say double click on the sticky note and type text just like you would type on regular Word documents.
Yeah, okay, we're good.
Excellent. So editing avatars, click on the gear icons at the bottom right, and then you'll see this icon, 3 icons. Choose the one at the bottom, customize avatar. If I click on this, here is what I currently look like. And if I press left or right, I can have a 360 view of my avatar to make sure I look cool from any angle. Today, I'm actually not feeling like wearing those pants. I actually would like to go, maybe not with a dress, but I feel like, yes, a flying carpet indeed. Excellent. And then once you're done and your avatar satisfies you, you can just click on this button and exit. And this is what my avatar looks like now. All right, so what I'm going to show you now is the last button, which is click again on the gear icon at the bottom right, and here you see save and quit. So if I click save and quit here, it's going to save my virtual classroom as it is now. So all those sticky notes will stay, the text that I wrote will stay, so that next time I open the application, I will find the classroom the way I left it. Before I stop the tutorial, I'm going to go over every button that you see. This one is a way to copy the room ID so that you can share it. This one is to turn your camera on and off. This one here is to mute and unmute myself so that the other people in the virtual classroom can hear me or not. This button is the pencil that allows me to draw. This button that shows up above allows me to change the width of the line. And those, of course, allow me to choose the color. Those are for sticky notes, to create sticky notes. This is the cursor that you can use in order to interact with this browser. This is the eraser that allows you to erase anything on the whiteboard by holding your click. And finally, the trash can icon allows you to delete sticky notes. Here, save and quit at the end of your class. This is to show the controls. If you forget, if you want to see what the left button is for, what the right button is for. And finally, this one is to customize your avatar. All right, I'm going to save and quit. And at the end, you'll see a little menu that asks me for a feedback, session left. Thank you for using Koala. If you want to skip, feel free to skip. If you want to give us some feedback, here means that we can definitely improve the product. Here means that you had a great class. I'm going to say that it was phenomenal because this team is working really hard and I want to encourage them and submit.
Awesome. I think we have a couple questions. Is this a good time, David, for questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
You might have to reopen the app though and show a couple things.
Okay, so in that case, I'm just going to cover the last couple slides and then we can go to Q&A and we'll reopen the app and we'll show you whatever you want. All right, The last thing that I wanted to talk to you about is takeaways. So of course, don't worry. I know if I went too fast, we are recording this webinar. We will be editing it and uploading it to YouTube. And I hope we can be done by the end of the week. I will send you an email to all so that you can watch, take your time, pause, try to replicate at home. So don't worry about this. What I wanted to mention for this slide was that obviously COVID was very disruptive for students and teachers, especially students on an IEP. And I know it was really tough for you to help your kiddos in this situation. But this can also be an opportunity to challenge the way we've been doing things and build education tools that adapt to the students rather than the other way around. So our product as it is today is not perfect. But with your feedback, we will make it perfect. So go ahead, Koala is free, use it with your students, tell us about how they react, and we will occasionally send you surveys with simply 4 questions in the survey. Please, if you can, give us your best answer here because that will allow us to build the product you need. That's it. So our next webinar, we'll do this again 2 weeks from now for those who missed it, or if you want to join again, of course, you're welcome. You can just go to our website, of course, koala-classroom.com, and there's a page called webinar. You can RSVP there. Feel free to invite your colleagues and friends if you think they could benefit from this free product. Thank you very much for your time. And now Ben and I are going to try to answer questions. Thank you.
All right. Let's see. So Xavier, can you share your screen and load up the app? I'm going to try to answer a couple of questions.
Absolutely.
Okay, we have a question from Robin. What does the teacher see versus what student sees?
That's a good point. So do you want to take this one, Ben?
Sure, yeah. So the teacher, what you see is what you have in your screen at the moment, right? So whatever you have in front of you, you have you see the whiteboard. On the left, we see a couple sticky notes that have been stick to the wall. This is what you see. So the student doesn't see that exactly. The student they have their own view, right? That they can, independently from the teacher, move their view around, just like you would do it with the arrow keys, if that makes sense. So you can't directly control what the student sees. They just move around, however they want. Obviously, it's kind of like real life, right? You can't really take their head and place it wherever you want. You have to tell them to look here or look there, if that makes sense.
And I'll add to Ben's comments that the students don't see those icons at the top here. They cannot, correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, but they cannot browse to any URL.
Yeah.
Only the teacher can do that. They cannot upload any local documents. Only the teacher can do that. And they cannot take mouse control or play with this hamburger menu here.
Right. So this is all done on purpose. We really want to give full control to the teacher, especially when it comes to the browser. So we limited those controls to only the teacher. Okay, so we have one upstairs in the Koala room, and I can't figure out how to go back downstairs to where the browser screen is. Is there a way to do that easily? So yeah, if you go upstairs, so Xavier, can you do it real fast?
Absolutely. We'll probably make the stairs wider so that it's easier.
Yeah, they're kind of narrow at this point. But once you're upstairs, yeah, all you have to do is kind of turn around using the arrow keys or the mouse for that matter, and just walk towards the entrance of the stairs and just walk down. There's nothing specific to do. You kind of you just go where the stairs lead you to. Here you go. If a comment from Claudia, definitely need to create access for tutors to switch over to a document camera. Okay, I think that's excellent feedback.
That's excellent feedback. Yeah, we need to work on that.
Yeah. What grades are recommended to use this?
So this is really up to you. We see this as working really well for students of the Minecraft generation. You know, those avatars is kind of, you know, what a lot of them are doing with Animal Crossing or with Minecraft, and this resonates a lot with them. They're very comfortable with this 3D space. But I think any kid can benefit from this, especially because of the 3D spatial strength of those kiddos, if they're dyslexic, of using, you know, maybe dedicating this board for sticky notes and this one for writing. And there's a different activity at different spots, and therefore it helps with the instructions, the delivery of the instructions. But there's no age limit, it's up to you.
Can you access Google Docs while an app in order to use with a student?
Yes, absolutely.
So just go to Google Docs as if you would in a normal browser.
Yeah.
You should be able to access your docs. How many rooms are there? There's infinite number of rooms, so don't feel free to create as many rooms as you want. Are there different functions? Oh, I think the question was more like what types of rooms are there? Yeah, at this point we only have one, but we will be adding more as we go.
And let us know if you know better than us. You know what type of virtual classroom setting you want. We actually initially started with something that looked more like a classroom, and then teachers we were working with told us that a lot of those kids have a trauma associated to something that looks like a classroom. So why not make it a cozy cabin like this, where they actually enjoy being there? But we may very well be wrong. Let us know if you want us to work on other scenes.
Does the red door open?
So, Ben, you want to take this?
Right. So at the moment, no. The idea is that, you know, this serves as a very basic first scene where you can do like almost everything, or I think everything that you would normally do in a regular classroom. But we will be adding stuff that you might not be able to do in a regular classroom. So stay tuned.
We were thinking, I think a lot of suggestions that we heard were to maybe put some games there, like arcade games and fun games that you can allow your students to use at recess time. You know, if you want to do a 30-minute, like a break at the 30-minute mark, you can set a timer and you say, okay, you have 2 minutes in the arcade room, and the kids can get there. And once the timer expires, they go back to work automatically. But that's just an idea.
We have a couple questions also about the number of students that can be supported in one classroom. At the moment, we definitely recommend 4 or less, not more than 4. We are working on improving that, but at the moment it's really meant for smaller classes. In any case, it's kind of hard, I think, if you have more than 4 students to kind of, you know, have this thing, control them in a certain way, if that makes sense. I've created an avatar, but I'm not seeing it. That's right, because this point of view that you have is the first person point of view. You can always see your avatar just by going in the settings menu and clicking customize avatar to see what you look like. Students who look at you will see you just like that, if that makes sense. Is it possible to toggle back and forth between different websites? Excellent question. I think we're going to be working on tab support. To the students. Hey, okay, I'm going to turn on my camera. Now, actually, Xavier, I don't have access to that.
Oh, got it.
Does the watermelon upstairs do anything? I'll let you play with it. Try to click on it. Try to drag and drop it around the scene. Other controls for student avatar do not attend inappropriate interaction with other avatars. And I'm not sure what you mean by inappropriate interactions. At the moment, we do not have controls for that. It is on our roadmap though to add teacher admin controls for movements and stuff like that in order for you to control your guests or your students. How do you turn the camera on? I click on it, but it's just a colored square that went on. Two problems here. Make sure your camera is connected. Make sure that you don't have Zoom or Google Hangouts.
Any other application.
Exactly, using your camera. If it still doesn't work, please send us an email and we'll look into it. Is there a built-in visual timer? Not at the moment. How do you use the laser pointer? Laser pointer, you don't actually have to do anything to use it. Whenever you point somewhere with your mouse on the screen, the student will see where you're pointing at because the laser pointer will be coming out of your hand. And maybe I can join your room, Xavier, for us to show this.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, I'll join your room. Okay.
So you see on my screen, you see my cursor here. It's pointing to the T, but I don't see my own laser. But any other student that joins, like Ben, who just joined here, sees a laser that's going from the hand of my avatar to this T. Just like right now. Ben, can you please point at the T? Thank you. Here, there's a laser going to the T to his hand right here. That allows you to, interact and have a more interactive, collaborative interactions.
Can you change the color of the sticky note?
Absolutely. You click on the sticky note button here, and then you create your sticky note. And then once you select it, you have this little color set of different colors here that you can choose from.
How can I remove the freckles from my avatar? You can't. There's one particular skin color that comes with freckles right now. We will obviously change that. It's what else do we have? Sorry. I think we've answered all these questions. How do I keep my avatar on the screen? It disappears when I hit the red save button. Yeah, so Tracy, the idea is that you are seeing the world from the point of view of your avatar, as if you were you were in the eyes of the avatar. But any student who sees you will see the avatar that you've selected. What else we got? Does my host room change each time I log on? So that's actually a really good question. Your host room, as long as you quit by saving, like Xavier showed, Xavier, can you show how to save and exit? That's right. So you click on the little gear and then save and exit. This means that everything that you have in your room, the sticky notes, the writings on the boards, even the web page that you have loaded on your whiteboard,
in full screen mode, there's still a few small issues where when you click, the cursor is not exactly aligned with what you click on. So if that's your problem, exit the full screen mode and you should be able to do it. Let me know if my assumptions are wrong here.
So if you have up to 5 students, so yeah, again, for the 5-student question, I do recommend 4 or less at this time, simply because we're working on improving the conference mode. But what do you see? Can students do different things, or is it one person at a time doing something? Everybody can do things at the same time. It's really a playground. You could even compare this to a multiplayer video game in a certain way. So you don't have to tell somebody or wait for somebody to move or do something in order for you to do something, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think we've answered most questions.
I'll add one thing real quick. This here is my email address. Mm-hmm. Feel free, if you have feature requests, such as what was suggested for 5 students or more, if your school needs this tool and you need to support full classrooms and things like this, let's talk and let's see how we can make the tool work for you. Cool. I think so. That's it with the questions, Ben, right?
I think there's a lot of other questions. Some of them we've already
Thanks.
answered. So I encourage you to revisit the recording once we publish it. Apart from that, I don't see any questions that we haven't answered. So do we need to send a new room code for each session? Yes, you do need to send a room code for each session. That's correct. Again, this will be improved in the future. We're trying to get rid of the room code altogether. At the moment, you do need to send a room code for each session. Recurrent sessions is not supported. You have to send a new room code every single time. Do we need to log in, find out the room code? Yes. Yes, you need to email the parents the room code each time. That's correct. This will be improved. We have a lot of people excited about this, so we're also super excited for you guys to use this.
This product was built for you, so
right.
means a lot.
So please use it as much as you can. It's totally free, so go ahead. Don't hesitate. We do appreciate feedback. So like Xavier showed,
need feedback.
When you exit the app, don't exit it pressing the cross at the top of your window, because that we won't have any feedback if you do that. Please exit it using the gear button and then save and exit. At that point, you'll be able to leave feedback, and we really value your feedback.
Just like this, click on save and quit here, and then session left. Thank you. How did you like your room? Feel free to be fully honest with us, and then you can give us a feedback here. And this is a big deal for us. It allows us to know what you need.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time. Again, our next webinar is on September 9th. Feel free to join again and to ask any questions and to invite your friends. Bye. Take care.
Bye, everybody.